Hi, this is Dennis at 3D Mini Magic. In this video, I'd like to talk to you about an aspect of 3D printing which may be of interest to you if you are thinking of starting your own 3D printing journey, or if you just find the process interesting. I'll be talking about resin printing, which is different from, for example, filament printing. And I printed out two versions of the same miniature. This is a great werewolf miniature that I printed out. It's for sale at my shop. Now, at least with resin printing, you can print them out as a solid piece of resin, which this is in my left, you're the right of your screen, or hollow, which you see in my other hand, my right, your left. Now, the reason you would print a hollow miniature is because you use less resin. And any resin you don't use to actually print the miniature, you can use again. So, over time, you would save a little bit of money on your resin costs. But there is an issue which doesn't stop you from printing hollow miniatures, but you need to be careful of it. Now, because it's hollow, if you just told your printer to print this miniature and take out the resin that's inside, for example, his chest area, that's going to be hollow. The legs are going to be hollow. Some pieces are too thin. Like I think his claws are not hollow, but other parts are. Now, if you just print it like the way I've just described, you're going to have liquid resin inside because you're going to have a hollow cavity inside your miniature. And so what you have to do, and let's see if I can get this on camera. Because it's kind of hidden. I think you can see it there. You have to have a hole. Got to have a hole in here so that when you take it out of the printer, that liquid resin can drain out. And that's all fine and good. But then the next step, when you take your miniature out of the printer, is you've got to wash off all the excess resin, because it's, I'll probably do another video about this, but essentially your resin miniatures, and you can see I've still got some supports. I just did these, I finished them yesterday evening, and I printed them out for demonstration purposes. But they're printed one layer, and I mean layer like fraction of a millimeter level at a time. It kind of dips down to this vat of resin. And so when it's done, you're going to be covered in unused resin. And you use typically isopropyl alcohol to wash it off, although there are resins that are water washable. And I'll probably talk about that in a future video. Anyway, the thing that I found that tripped me up for a while with the hollow ones is I would take, and I did this yesterday, I took my solid miniature and my hollow miniature, and I have a wash station, which is basically this tub that has a kind of impeller at the bottom, kind of like a washing machine. You put it in there, you hit a button. I usually set mine for 1.5 minutes, and the isopropyl alcohol washes all around it, and it generally does a really, really good job of getting the excess resin off, because you want all of it off. And how do you know when it's off? Well, if you look at, for most of these, like this one, the solid ones always come out a little better. These, if you notice, this one has a kind of a flat color to it. It's a flat, the resin is gray, so it's a flat gray color. But even this one, when they first come out, and let me get the hollow one. where you definitely see this, is you see there's this shiny stuff still on some parts of it. Like up here on the head, this is all clean, but in a couple places, there's this shiny stuff, and that is uncured resin that needs to be removed before you do anything else. The next step is you would cure this in UV light, but you don't want to do that until all the excess resin is gone. And the reason the hollow ones can be a little trickier is, I think, you see I thought he had another hole in the back. Basically, this one just has basically one hole at the bottom, but the cavity inside is pretty irregular in shape. So there can be liquid resin sloshing around in there for quite a while. So I usually wind up having to wash the hollow ones multiple times, and I take I have an old toothbrush to scrub away at these parts. So it's a little more intensive, and you really have to check it over and over again. The solid ones, not so much. I mean, this one actually still has a few spots that I think need to be gone over. Especially, when there's a lot of detail, like this one, his fur and his ripped up pants and so forth. Resin can get in the cracks, and it may not come out with the washing unit. So point is, if you're going to do hollow miniatures, wash them and then check them carefully, especially anywhere near the holes. Like you see, his hole is, I know it sounds kind of funny. Where are his holes? Usually they're at the bottom. You don't want the holes where people are really good to see it. So here it's at the bottom, and on the stand, he's standing like this. So this stuff, you have resin running out this hole here, and it's gotten around the inside of the leg, and it gets around other parts of the lower mini. So it needs to be washed a couple of times, and I need to check it every time I do it to make sure I've gotten everything. So that's that. Check me out, please, at 3D Mini Magic. And sorry, as you can see, this is a one-man band here. So, and I'm not, I'm no video professional, clearly. So I'm going to sign off, and thank you so much, and I wish you all the best. Follow me at TikTok, Instagram, and I have a YouTube channel called 3D Mini Magic.